A lot of church girls have somebody who will say, oh, I know we're supposed to have a date, but I'm not able to take you out today. How about you come to my place, over Netflix and chill?
Remember, everyone is putting their best foot forward. So if you are lucky to see anything negative, imagine they are at their best. They are showing you that while at their best.
What would you say is our responsibility? Number one, on our side as a parents,
Yes,
and on the side of these young girls that we are raising. Because you see, I cannot change where I'm coming from. That is my... Good day, good people. How are you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're catching this conversation from. Welcome to Sukibe YouTube Conversations, and we say this is the home of authentic conversations. My name is Susan Kibiatsulu. I'm born again. I love Jesus. I am a product of grace, and I am happy to come to you today with a beautiful conversation, which is part of our day-to-day lives, things we are going through, things we're experiencing, even with our children, our sisters, our nieces, and I'm so happy because I am joined up in studio by an amazing friend of mine. And one of the things that I do is mentorship for girls, moms parenting alone, women who've been through separation, divorce, and all that. So we get a lot of people who need to understand their journey of emotional wellness and find identity. And so I am thrilled to have somebody who will also be telling us what she does and how she's here so that we can pick our discussion from there today. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Sue. I am so glad to be here. Thank you for having me. You're doing an amazing work, and I'm honored to be seated here. Many times I usually watch you. So to be the one seated here next to you is such an amazing honor. And I'm glad. I'm grateful. I've been excited about this conversation because it is really at my heart. We are going to talk about how we got here. Of course, all of us have been single at some point.
Yeah.
And I was just looking back and saying, over a decade ago, I was this single girl navigating singlehood. And that's why I feel God has given me such a passion for single people, because I feel like they are misunderstood many times. And I like to give them encouragement here and there, share with them some wisdom that I've learned in my journey. And that's why this conversation has been something that I've been looking forward to having with you.
Amazing.
Yes.
We can clearly tell you have passion for it because
I didn't
you did not tell us your name.
Clearly. Yeah. I'm Hope Waiganjo,
Yeah.
a wife, a mother to 3 amazing children, and I do many things. One of them is that together with my husband, we serve in church. And one of the things we do together is help build relationships. So we do marriage counseling, premarital counseling. And I think that also has helped me see the many gaps that are there in relationship space. And that's what has also birthed the passion in me. And I also do mentorship for women and girls, helping them understand who they are in God, understanding their purpose, and living it fully. Professionally, I help people and empower people to become good communicators. So I do trainings and coaching on interpersonal skills. That's effective communication, leadership skills, emotional intelligence, and personal branding and image. I do that under a company that I founded called Bold Nivel Limited. And so we also do corporate trainings under the same company.
Amazing.
Yes.
I was going to say personal branding if you didn't say it.
I know, right?
Yeah. So you said something that is very crucial. I am a mother of many. I'm a mother of a clan. I have all ages represented. And so my young adults happen to be girls.
Yes.
And looking at their lives and their friendships, their relationships, their journeys, listening to stories from their friends, I realized that a lot of single girls, being single in our years, was not as complicated. We still had our journeys, but now it is it's like a hard nut to crack. Maybe you'd start from there and tell us how you navigated your
Wow.
your journey as a single woman,
Yeah.
and how you come here to be what we see today. We see a beautiful, woman of God, beautiful spirit. And when you open your mouth to speak, the counsel flows so easily.
Wow.
Yeah, and it has come from somewhere.
Yes, it has, definitely. Thank you so much, Sue, for those kind words. And yes, like I said, I've been married for almost 12 years now. So, of course, prior to that, I was navigating the singlehood. What I can say is my singlehood was marked by one thing, that I've been born again since Form 4. And so I left school. I've been in the journey of salvation throughout. That played a big role because, of course, being single in church, there's a very big difference from being single out there in the world. And so I was always serving in church, actively serving in church throughout. And then what else? Of course, that means I had a community of people around me. And as I grew, one thing also that helped me again, which I learned in church, is I understood purpose. In fact, I remember the first thing that I learned immediately after high school was purpose. There was this service we did, a youth service, and someone talked about purpose. So throughout my journey, I kept asking God, what is this purpose? What do you have in store for me? How do you want me to, to live out my life? And so those things helped me stay focused. Of course, as I grew, and then of course I had, my desire was to get married at 25. That was my ideal. So as I was approaching 25, there was no man in sight. And so that's where I think the internal pressure started. But I still feel I navigated it in a way that, yes, there was the fun bit, the adventure. There are many times when I felt very content in my singlehood, knowing it's a season. And then there were times when I thought, man, this man had better come quickly. Yeah, so it was a mix of many things. And yes, as much as it was better then, thanks to social media not being very advanced as it is today, so people are meeting in person. And I think that played a role in getting to know people authentically than it is today, which I feel is what is making even the dating world to be more complicated. There are so many things, and social media is playing a big role in bringing all that confusion and the pressure. Yeah, so for me, I believe being aligned and understanding my purpose, knowing myself, being in a place where I had people to teach me, of course, the pastors to help you, guide you, that helped a lot. Yeah.
Wow. The fact that you learned about purpose after Form 4, my God. I learned about purpose when I was an adult with an ID.
That was a blessing
who has
for
already
me.
started life.
Yeah.
And what you said is true, because nowadays with social media, you see, you can even be dating somebody who is just an AI thing. You could be dating a robot.
But I know. Yeah.
And we interact with a lot of people who feel like almost like there's no hope, really.
Yeah.
When you ask somebody why they are not, most of the young people, I have listened to a few, are saying, but me nowadays, my heart is just for loving my mother and pumping blood. I don't get it.
Oh my God.
Because I feel like it's been one heartbreak after another. So there's also there's the impact of social media. There's also the thing of the community and the people who raise you, the people who speak to you.
Yes.
What would you say is one of the things that would be like a major contributor to that disparity in how we would make decisions then and now? Not even talking about the pressure. Pressure is on its own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I also believe that over the years, there has been a lot of moral decay generally in the world, in the community. And I think for me, that's why when I got my why, the passion for why I have the passion for singlehood, God took me to, understanding how family is the basic unit. We're told it's the basic unit of a society. And so what happens in a family, of course, a family here, meaning two adults who have come together, man and woman, and now they've started that unity. So how we raise children from there determines what kind of adults they become. And so because of what has been happening over the years, there is little regard for marriage as we're progressing in years. And also the fact that people don't really, the way people choose their spouses, it has been, the things that people look out for have been eroding, let me say that. Like the main things that we should focus on, people are not focusing on them anymore. And so we have many children who are now adults who have come from dysfunctional homes. And so what happens? These adults who have gone through trauma as children end up carrying it. And so we have so many adults now who are in the marriage, in the age where they can get married, but they don't know themselves. They're dealing with a lot of wounds that they have not healed from. And so they end up wounding other people. And so when we talk about the heartbreaks that the single girls are experiencing, I think they come from there. The fact that they're interacting with people who don't know themselves. They have no sense of direction, no sense of purpose. They don't understand their identity. And I think that really contributes a lot. Because when you ask the girls, like for me, the single ladies that I've talked to, they keep saying, out there, it's like men can't even have a proper conversation as an adult with you. They even don't understand who they are. When you look at them, you look at what they are doing with their lives, there's no accountability. All those things, I feel they stem from somewhere. Yeah.
Amazing. You talked about I think the things like, or that the impact or the solutions that maybe they are faced with outside here, and they feel like, oh, there's nobody who even understands me, or most of them are also living in the era of it's called Netflix and chill. Oh my God. Interacting with young people, and probably even in church. We are both in the church space, and a lot of church girls have somebody who will say, oh, I know we were supposed to have a date, but I'm not able to take you out today. How about you come to my place, over Netflix and chill? The first time I heard about what is that? You'll just be getting into a trap, knowingly, like you walk into it knowingly. And sometimes they feel like, maybe what if I say no and then this opportunity goes, So what you talked about, them understanding their purpose, knowing yourself, and what even your worth. Like it's fine. Then we can have coffee the next time when you have money.
Exactly.
Because I also feel that now also, if it starts like that, that's the same thing that translates even in marriage.
Yes.
And you're wondering, they are just here. What happened? You started it.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So that point of even going for a date and like, what would you advise our young girls as they prepare and what to look out for? Because people feel like, I know, I've been down that road. It's like I am meeting the same kind of people. And I don't want to get into it.
Yes.
And that is where they are keeping off.
True.
Yeah.
True. Wow. I like that you've mentioned the fact that, they need to know their worth. That comes with a lot of you need to do self-analysis. Understand who you are. How you understand your value is by first knowing yourself. Knowing who you are, the fact that God created you as a special person with a purpose and put it in you. Have you gotten to understand your purpose? And that means that you need to have a serious walk with God. I like what almost all of us have heard from the late Miles Monroe. He used to say that only the manufacturer of an item knows the purpose for which he manufactured it. And so many people don't have a relationship with God, so they don't know their worth. They don't know their value. Because that's the only thing that will make you feel like maybe I'm missing out. Let me just settle for this one because there are no men out there. No. In fact, you don't need many. You only need one.
But that line of there are no good men out there is very common.
It is common. Yes. And you see, that's what you keep saying. That's what will manifest. Believe that you don't need, even if there are not many good men, yours, claim that yours is there. The one good one that is meant for you will be there. And of course, in the same place where people are saying there are no men, there are people who are getting married to very good men who are also keeping away because they are afraid that there are no women. You see, it's both ways. And so, one, I think, understand your worth and your value and set boundaries. Have clear boundaries and values. In fact, this for me, I feel is very big. Have a set of values that you stand for. Values guide you. They help you make decisions. Because if you don't have any values, then anything goes. You will be going to any party you're invited to. You will hang out with anyone. But when you have those values, they will guide you. You will know that I don't need to go here because what I stand for, these people don't stand for that. And I think that will help a lot. These girls need to understand that, and a man who values you will make an effort. Even if they don't have money to take you on a date, there are many other options. He would rather invite you to go to the park and take a walk than taking you for Netflix and chill. I think someone needs to pay a price to get you, honestly, not just inviting you to their house. Yeah, because once you start doing Netflix and chill and you get intimate, you lose focus. You will not focus on understanding and getting to know this person. Yet dating is supposed to be for getting to know each other, not exploring. Yes, so many women are losing the opportunity to get to know someone because they've already gotten intimate. Their judgment is now clouded, and that makes them also withstand some things that they could outrightly say no to. Yeah.
Sometimes you talked about when by the time you're hitting 25 and you're like, this man needs to come. He should have come yesterday.
Yes.
What would you say helped you to keep strong and wait and say, you know what, I still believe he will come? Because sometimes also the decisions that probably our young girls will make is because of pressure.
True.
I'm thinking, all my friends are married. Yeah, everybody in the church, we're just hearing wedding bands. Yeah, minus you. You have you've hit 25.
Yes.
You're headed to 30. What would you advise someone to be able to do to accommodate yourself in that space and not lose?
Not lose yourself or not give in to pressure.
To pressure, yeah.
What helped me is, of course, my walk with God and knowing that He's my Father. He has my best interests at heart. He will give me a good person. Despite, because even back in the day, there are still people who used to say there are no men. In fact, in church, the ladies used to say, no, there are no men in church, or the men in church are boring.
The brothers are just quoting scriptures.
They're quoting scriptures. They're not doing the things that they want, like what the people in the world do. But I still believe that the God who created you, has someone who will meet the desires that you have. And so the pressure didn't just, end then. It used to come and go, especially when, like you've said, your friends are getting married. I would experience the pressure, but I would keep reminding myself that, you know what? I want a good marriage. I just don't want to settle. I kept telling myself, if I would rather get married late, but to somebody that I will enjoy the marriage and it will be a purposeful marriage, than rush into something and end up being miserable in the marriage. So the fact that I knew the kind of marriage I wanted helped me to wait. And so despite the pressure, of course, the pressure would come. I remember every year I'd tell God, now God, this year, I would say, I'm ready, as if He doesn't know whether I'm ready or not. And by then, looking back, when I finally got married, I realized those years that I kept saying I was ready, I wasn't ready. So God knows when you're ready. So stop focusing on the timing, because we are so much focused on our age. But God, the creator of time, knows what is good for you and knows when the time is right. So knowing that I needed a good man, a good husband, and I wanted to enjoy my marriage, I didn't settle because of that. I kept saying, I will wait for the right person. He will come. Yes.
You talked about dysfunctionalities that could be in the homes we are coming from.
Yes.
And sometimes these young girls find themselves even like running away from dysfunctionality.
Yeah.
And then now you like end up in a trap. Yeah. So I felt like I didn't like the space I was in. So the very first person who shows you love,
yes,
you fall into a trap, and now you start another, what would you say is our responsibility? Number one, on our side as a parents,
Yes.
and on the side of these young girls that we are raising. Because you see, I cannot change where I'm coming from. That is my
True.
family.
Yes.
However things are. So what would you say would be the best way to handle that? So that's number one, on the point of the parents, how best should we handle ourselves
Yes.
to support these children? Because you see, also I've realized, like us guys, our parents were raised by colonial parents who were raised by other parents who also how so they do what they do best, but they didn't know how to do it any better.
True.
Yes.
True.
So now we're in the era where we are farming our children. Oh, mommy, you know I love you. I'm proud of you. Some of us didn't hear that growing up.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So the first person who tells you you're beautiful, that is, you are it. You're already done for.
Wow, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. And it's true. They say that there's an age you get to where now you stop saying where I came from. You have to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. I acknowledge that, yes. Someone said that anyone who comes from an average African home needs healing. Because
so true.
yeah, people have gone through a lot of dysfunctions, and they end up traumatized without even knowing. And by the way, we still want to acknowledge that, like you said, our parents did the best with what they had. They didn't know better. They knew the road is what will straighten you. And so without explaining why they were beating you, sometimes you'd be beaten and wonder, which mistake am I being beaten for?
You even wonder if that is your parent or you are adopted.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. But that's what they felt was needed to raise us. And I've had many millennials especially say, but we turned out okay. And I'm like, really, did we? Many people are going through therapy to heal. And that those, in fact, the ones who are going through therapy, they are way ahead of the time because they have discovered something is wrong. Let me find help. Many are not. Many don't understand that they are going through things that may require some kind of help. And the advantage, back to your question on how to help the young ones, our children, those who are already in the space where they are looking to settle down in marriage, the advantage we have right now is in this age of social media, again, it can be a good thing and a negative thing. There's so much information out there, which was not there back in our day. We were navigating in the dark, and many times I usually say what I had was my Bible and maybe a journal. Now there are podcasts. There's, you go on YouTube and you can find all kind of information that can help you. When I got married is when I had the word emotional intelligence for the first time. And after understanding what it is, I wished I knew about it when I was still single. It would have saved me a lot of conflicts in my marriage. So I believe the first thing is to, like we said, go back to interrogate yourself, get to understand who you are, understand your patterns. If it is you're attracting a certain kind of men, maybe men who don't treat you well, who abuse you with maybe verbally, not necessarily physically. And sometimes it starts verbally. Then you get married and it ends up, it graduates, because what you see when you're dating is usually magnified in marriage. And so you have to be very cautious. If it's a pattern, make sure you nip it at the bud. Sit down with yourself and ask yourself, why am I always attracting all these kind of people that and either treat me badly or whatever that pattern is? Because if it is happening many times, you're the only constant. Exactly. So you have to do that work of interrogating yourself. So yes, go through therapy if you have to. There are many people out there. There are many places where you can get to understand all these things, understand why you behave the way you behave. If there are patterns in your life, maybe it's an anger issue, maybe you have anxiety, there are so many issues that can be as a result of trauma in childhood or in your upbringing. And there is always a solution. And apart from that, I believe the word of God helps. Yes. Yeah.
Wow, you said something there that I felt you should have rewind. What you see when you're dating will be magnified in marriage. Because sometimes when I said I work with people who've been through separation and divorce, which is an unfortunate incident.
Yes.
And sometimes I'll tell you, by the way, in year 1 and 2, I saw this and this, but then I felt maybe it will die down, or probably when we joined church, probably we met in the world, and now we have joined church, now we are born again, so he will change.
Yes.
This thing will go.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel one of the things that also affects us as women is this thing of feeling like, we are also fixers. Yeah,
Tell me about
we are
it.
born feeling like, I can fix this man.
Yes.
I can.
We take the word helper too far.
Too far. Yeah. So there's that thing about it will be magnified, and we can save ourselves from the mess. We are not saying that, I've seen this, bye-bye.
Yes.
No, we can get help, as you said.
Yes.
If you need therapy, seek counsel.
Yes.
And I also feel there's something that can really help, because like you said, you had a community around you. What would you say is the place of accountability for these young people when probably I'm in my dating space and I feel I have spotted somebody?
Yes.
What would you say is a place for accountability?
Wow. Okay. Let me talk about the idea of something being magnified in marriage.
Please.
And it's because when you're dating, remember, everyone is putting their best foot forward. So if you are lucky to see anything negative, imagine they're at their best. They're showing you that while at their best, know. So if they get angry, maybe it was an anger outburst, and you excuse it, because I'm sure they will probably give you an explanation and tell you, I was provoked or whatever it is. You can imagine when you're now in marriage, settled, and now he doesn't have to, I'll not say pretend, but he can be himself, because where else can he be himself? We are here now. Yes, we are here now. I like the way you bluntly, we are here now. Exactly. I got you. So if there are things that he can't deal with now, and because that will mean a sacrifice, I love you enough to deal with, say, an anger issue. I love you enough to put my finances in order, where I'll not be a spendthrift, or I will not get into debt. All those things are signs. They are red flags. And so if they cannot deal with them now, they will be magnified in marriage. You will have to be dealing with them even more. And by the way, that goes for even the things that are positive right now. For example, let me give an example. If you meet a guy, and I feel like I'll give my personal example. What attracted me to my husband is he's a very chilled out guy, very cool. Of course, he's a pastor, so he's a sanguine, he loves people. But his personality, one-on-one, he's a very cool person, very easy. What you see is what you get. And I loved that. In marriage, it used to irritate me because I think, okay, he's so chilled. I used to tease him. I told him, like, even if I told you the house is on fire, you'll be like, oh yeah, really? And so that, of course, is not something, it's not a deal breaker. But what I'm trying to say is everything you see now, some of them even positive, they can end up being the things that irritate you. So the purpose of dating and courting is to understand your deal breakers. What can you live with? What can't you live with? It is not so that you get, and by the way, don't get me wrong. We are not trying to tell you look for a perfect person, because none of us is.
They are not.
Neither are you. Neither ever. Exactly. They've already been taken up by the Lord. It is to get to know, like you said, understand their struggles or challenges so that you can start working on them early enough. That awareness helps. Don't get surprised in marriage, because maybe you didn't see something or someone hid something. Although, like we're saying, all those red flags usually show. Unless you got married the first week you met. As long as you've been with someone long enough, a few months, they will always show you something that you can pick and say, I think this is something that I need to watch out for, and bring it up, have a conversation about it. That is where also the other point you brought about a community comes in. Don't be isolated, because if you're isolated, and remember, you've met this person and you're in love, you'll be biased. There are things that other people can see that you who is in love may not see. And you really need that. You need people to tell you, you know what, this is a nice person, but there is this and this that I've seen about them. Get to understand more, get to talk about it more. And also accountability is important. I believe that someone who is genuine genuinely interested in you will not want you to keep them as a secret. They'll be okay with accountability. So if you've met someone and they don't want you to take them maybe to your fellowship, your cross point, your leaders, that already is a big, big red flag. Yeah, because they should be in a place where they are okay with accountability, because they also want to be checked and to be helped and to be corrected, so that you both start life at a good place. Yeah.
Amazing. There are people who will say they have, if you listen, maybe I listen to you, I feel like I have ticked the boxes according to them.
Yes.
I have ticked the boxes. And then when now they finally get married, they're like, but this is not the person I got married to. This is not the person I saw.
Yes.
So could it be maybe because probably there are things we overlooked, or maybe I felt it's not a big deal, and then sasa ndio inakuja kukua giant,
Yes. Yes.
Or maybe you are just blinded by the love. So what you're saying about having a neutral person and accountability is very crucial, because they help you to pick out what probably may skip both of us in that time. Because now what happens also, one of the things that are very major with now the people who, even that time I have learned it now, is people say this person is ghosting me. We met, we spoke, and then they disappeared.
Yes.
So when somebody is ghosting you, do you feel like they also have probably something they need to deal with?
I think so. Yeah, that already is a sign that that they need to deal with something. Because I would ask myself, why are they ghosting you? Of course, is it because you had a conflict, then they didn't want to deal with it, they decided, you know what, let me keep off? Is it that they are not ready to commit and they feel like you are so ready, now they're feeling pressure? Because that could also be another thing. I think it's also good to understand where this is coming from. The other one that we can't assume, have you slept together and now he got what he wanted, he wants to skip, and you're wondering, he's not talking to me anymore. Could it be that all he wanted was just to sleep with you, and he had no other intentions of staying in a relationship that could lead to marriage? So there are many factors, but yes, I believe ghosting means you don't want to confront things. It feels like it's become such a big thing out there, where people don't want to handle issues. They ghost you. I've even had complaints where women say they have this guy that they've been talking to, then he disappears for a month or even months, then comes back as if nothing happened.
Nothing happened. We pick on from where we left.
Thank you. Like, no, that is a huge, huge problem. What happens when you get married? You're together. How can he be ghosting you? And maybe those are the people who end up having doing silent treatment, which I feel is very wrong, and it means someone has not matured to be able to sit down as an adult and have a conversation with somebody. Whether it's a conflict you're having, there needs to be a place of maturity where we sit down and talk about it. And even if because I believe we are not just addressing ladies, even for a gentleman, either party, if you want to end a relationship, there's a better way to do it than ghosting someone. Have a conversation. Let them know that, this is where I am. I feel like we're not going in the same direction. Let's end this. Because we're human beings. You never know where we will meet tomorrow. And you don't want it to be awkward when you meet just because you ended things at a bad place. But I think, like we've said, many things that are happening today come from somewhere. People really need to do soul searching and get to understand what challenges they are battling with, emotional issues that they need to sort out before they grow. And this is not just for marriage, by the way. This also in the professional spaces, you might end up losing opportunities because you're not mature emotionally. So I think the place of developing yourself emotionally should not just happen because of marriage or relationships. Even the workspaces, your career. These days, people are looking for people who are emotionally intelligent. Ghosting tells me you're not emotionally intelligent. So all those things that you need to work on now, they're not just for the sake of marriage, but also for your professional life. And eventually when you get married, not just for your wife, for your children and the children after, because you need to be a present person, as you build a family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm saying like our time is gone. I want you to look into that camera and talk to a young girl or a young man who is preparing to settle. They feel they're in that time that they need to settle.
Yes.
And they're trying to, fix things themselves.
Yes.
Or what they know best about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just a parting shot on how they can best prepare and, yes, get ready for the journey.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. To the young lady or the gentleman who desires to settle down in marriage, I know that it can be discouraging. You've gone through heartbreaks, disappointments, and it can even feel like, is it really worth it? But I can tell you that it is worth it. And like we've said, when you heal, so work on yourself first. Before you desire to see something in the person that you'd want to get married, first ask yourself, are you somebody that you would want somebody else? If you were to get married to you, would you be okay? Do you feel like you're whole? Do you feel like you're healed enough and you will be present enough for this person? So focus on building yourself up. Work on your skills, personal, interpersonal skills. Learn to communicate well. Learn to be a leader, because you will be leading not just yourself, but even your family. And so work on all these things so that when finally the right person comes, you will be ready for that relationship. You will be ready for marriage, because the worst thing that can happen is to get into marriage unprepared and whole and healed, because you will end up having a dysfunctional marriage, bringing children into a dysfunctional relationship. And sometimes there are people who are saying, if I'm not happy, I can walk away. From those who have divorced or separated, it is not as easy as it sounds. It has implications. It is tough. You would rather keep off and wait until you're sure. So all the best, but there is somebody good for you, and marriage is beautiful. When you get the right person, you will enjoy it.
Amazing. I'm happy and glad that we have ended it there. But I would want us to even also encourage the viewer to pick their lessons, take what they need to work on. And I love where you have ended it at the point of emotional intelligence, because when we come for the next part, for part 2, I want us to deal with this thing of character development. People are being beaten flat in the market. And they think the market is dirty. Yeah, so we start there from emotional intelligence, and we see how we need to unburden, release the baggage because when you carry baggage, then you'll have so much weight you cannot even be able to work on yourself, which is where we are supposed to begin. So I hope you have learned something from this conversation. Feel free to share this video with a friend, engage with us on the comments. Let us know what you feel, what are your thoughts, where you are at. Probably you're at a space where you just need somebody to guide you. Yeah, and so thank you very much for your time and for your support as always. And until next time, bye-bye. God bless you.
Bye.